All right, next we're going to talk about posture, position, and setup reminders. So even in the middle of the year, we find that students start to just do weird stuff with their posture, position, and their setup. So we're going to have some reminder and some activities to kind of help jog their memory as they go. So I think the big caveat with posture is just make it non-negotiable. I didn't realize that was an option for a long time when I was a younger teacher, but you know, I heard someone say to their students, posture is just not negotiable. You have to sit up in class. You have to really look correct when you're holding your instrument. And if you don't, we're going to have to stop and fix it. And as soon as the students realized that it was really going to be a thing, they got it. And so just make it non-negotiable. And that means that you're going to have to really reinforce that and have a clear expectation set for the students. Pop. Okay, so I stole this from somebody. I'm pretty sure I've stolen everything from all of you wonderful teachers out there. But pop is perfect orchestra posture. So, sometimes you're playing in the middle of class, you look around, and all of a sudden the kids have gone all kind of floppy. So pop, you just say pop, and they can pop up their posture and show you their perfect orchestra posture. So it's a great one word, and you don't have to say, okay, everybody stop. Let's everybody show me your good posture. You can just say pop. It's really effective with younger students. I find the older kids are a little less amused with it, the advanced players, but sometimes they get the sloppiest of all. So reminding them to have that perfect orchestra posture. And it's really important to set up what that looks like with the students. So, you may have to sit down and really make a list with them of what that looks like. Remind students that music stands are adjustable and that chairs move around. So many times our students come in and the stand is pushed all the way down because maybe the person before them was really small, or we just put the stands out and they just are leaned down looking at the music. Music stands go up and down for a reason, students. And so we have to review that more often than I would like to. So remind the kids to have their stand adjusted to the right height. Oftentimes our students forget that the stand is movable and also that the chairs are also movable. They're not glued to the floor. So remind the students to adjust their stand height. And then practice going from sitting to standing to sitting, or from standing to sitting to standing in one motion. So meaning, I'm going to see if I can back up my chair a little bit so you can see. So if I'm standing up and I sit, I should be able to go right back to standing in one motion. And that's where I should be sitting in my chair to have that good posture for my string playing. So do those little drills with kids. One thing that I think is always a good reminder is making sure we don't have violin beards, meaning the instrument is coming out of the front of our chin, having a good posture set up there. Selfies, you can have students take selfies with their instrument and make sure they're set up well so they can use this hand, take a selfie, or their neighbor can take it for them. Kids like to use their phone in class. This is a great way to utilize that technology. Another one that I saw, or that I'm sure that many of you have seen, is you take your hand, ask the students to grow up to their hand. So just put a little bit above their head and then grow an inch. And now they're sitting up a little taller and they've opened up that whole spine. And now they're nice and tall. And I have to do it too. Shoulder rest, in-pen adjustment, and base stool adjustment checks. So many times our students will do something weird like leave their shoulder rest off or not use one randomly. And most every kid needs a shoulder rest. It's very rare that I've ever seen a student not need a shoulder rest, unless they're some fancy pants studying with some fancy teacher that's told them not to use one. I just assume everyone needs a shoulder rest because you have to fill this gap here. And then in-pen adjustment heights. Kids grow from the time they're in 6th grade, but some of their in-pens didn't grow. And some of their cello is very short. The C-peg ends up too low, and then they're all a mess. And then bass stools. We use an adjustable bass stool that's like a DJ stool. I know many people use the wooden kitchen stools, but if you can get something that's adjustable, I think the ones we got were on Amazon. It really helps set the students better up and gives them a better angle and control of their instrument. When I was younger, I used to walk around on the backs of the chairs to make sure the students were sitting on the front of their chair. If I did that now, I'm afraid I would fall over. But if you're someone that's a little more coordinated than I am, if you just walk across the back, I played like leapfrog when I was a young teacher on the back of their chairs, and they loved that. Scroll angles. So a lot of times we'll see for posture, the scrolls will get angled weird. Making sure the scroll and all that is parallel to the floor. It's not pointing down, it's not pointing up, and everything is looking good on the violin and viola. And things like having the C peg of the cello behind the ear, the nut of the forehead across the base. It's those checkpoints. Having your students know what the checkpoints are. A lot of people use this 1, 2, and button in 3, 4. They have all these different, whatever your routine is, just have a routine with checkpoints to help them make sure, the base knot is at the eyebrow, forehead level, different things to help make sure that they're set correctly. Provide a checklist to students also of those things so that they know what to look for, especially your beginning students. And that way every day they can have a quick checkpoint list and just say, okay, am I set up well? It's also a good idea to show non-exemplars, like show me your worst pancake violins and they can show you, or, show me what your end pin looks like if it's too short, or show me an improper cello angle. Sometimes when they show you the non-exemplars, they realize, ooh, that's kind of how I was doing it. I need to actually fix it. Look mom, no hands is a favorite, just balancing the instrument with no hands, making sure that they've got the correct height between the chin rest and the shoulder rest, and it's filling that space without them having to rely on the left hand to hold. And then again, using those nonverbal signals. If you have a kid that constantly is doing something funny with their posture, just walk around and tap, they fix your posture. The next day, they're back to slouching, walk around, tap, fix their posture. Being consistent. Or if you see a lot of kids with a straight pinky, or you see a lot of kids like this, just a nonverbal cue would be to straighten this. Droopy elbows. Again, just give them those nonverbal signals as well as verbal signals. Some other things that help, just some keywords and ideas that help with left hand, is to say the word tall fingers. Sorry, I'm grabbing my violin again. So tall fingers, for a lot of kids, that just helps get reinforced that their fingers are supposed to be nice and tall and not flat and straight across. So tall fingers on the left hand. Straight wrist is also helpful for kids. If their wrist has a break in it, or they're looking like they're serving pizza or waitressing, that's a good sign that something's wrong. You can say no pancakes, no collapsing. We used to talk about having a little imaginary animal in your palm, and if you do that, you squash him and all his guts come out, anything that gets their attention. Taking a little piece of moleskin and putting it back here for cellos and basses, or a little sticker on the violin and viola to help mark thumb placement, can be really helpful. You can put a gummy worm in there for the wormhole, and they can have their gummy worm in there. Making sure too that their palm is facing the correct way. Like if their palm is facing the ceiling, that's not good, right? Where's their palm? They should be seeing their palm straight down that fingerboard. Cellos and basses, that palm should be facing the neck. If their palm is facing off to this way, then that's going to be problematic too. Elbow to the belly button for violin and viola to get around to those lower strings. Practicing the elbow swings, and that's also true for cello bass, elbow swings, getting that whole arm around, soda can hold, and doing those bridge taps to get that idea of practicing going up and down over. Extension reviews on the face. I know a lot of people will do so you do eyebrow, nose, lip. I'm trying to think how this one goes. Somewhere in here I can remember. You can do the extension review though on your face and get there it is. So nose, lip, open mouth, and it opens up that extension. So nose. And you get the extension. Mouse holes, having that nice shape in the left hand so that there's a little mouse hole. And then we talked about the imaginary animals. So all kinds of little ways you can help. And even with my big kids, I use these things because their posture gets super weird too, especially in my less advanced classes, in my younger students, ninth graders, 10th graders, and students that are just maybe a little less advanced players. They really need these reviews. And sometimes, even in my advanced classes, we have some weird things happening. So really reminding them of all these different ideas. So right hand, let me grab my bow. Sorry. Okay, so using cue words is really helpful for kids. I find saying things like jellyfish to give the description of this really soft hand, not a tense hand. Doing things like pinky taps. And then texting thumb. Texting thumb is one that I found helps a lot of kids. So think about the way you hold your cell phone and you can text with your thumbs. You don't text with your thumbs flat, right? You text with them bent. And so taking that and applying it to the bow hand and having a texting thumb on your bow hand really helps some kids. Different keywords that will just help. Pixie sticks, pencils, spaghetti, all those were great for beginning bow holds. Spaghetti is great because if they get tense, it'll break. Pixie sticks will bend. Pencils are a little harder. Anything, though, you can practice a bow hold on. You can practice it on your toothbrush. You can make a game of it. Find something weird in your house and bring it in for a bow hold to show us your bow hold on a banana, show us your bow hold on anything in your house, a zucchini, whatever's in your house there. Next step, a lot of kids, it really helps them to do the balance point to start with. I'm not saying necessarily you want to start kids at the balance point. Some people do and do it very well, but this is a good place to practice the bow hold because it takes out this heavy weight of the frog. When they move here, it's a lot harder for them to hold that. So I find, I've tried starting kids here. It's been okay. I've tried starting kids with the frog, also okay. Whatever floats your boat. But taking that bow grip, once you get this established, and then when I want to move them to the frog, I have them just slide, slide, slide until they bump into the frog, and that gives them that good shape. So you can try starting at the balance point or at least reviewing the bow hold at the balance point. If you're going to do the bow hold at the frog, always two hands because they need help supporting that weight. Tons and tons of bow games. Windshield wipers, right? You've got stirring the soup. Write your crush's name on the ceiling. Write your dog's name on the ceiling. Write your name on the ceiling with the tip of your bow. You've got spider races. You've got Bow Olympics. Sarah Ball just did Bowvember this past fall. She did a different bow activity every day. So creative. So all kinds of ways you can incorporate reviewing the bow hand. Using a pen also can be helpful if your students and their parents are okay with marking on their thumb, like where they make contact, and then marking on their fingers, like where does the finger contact the bow. Yeah, some people make those fancy pinky pockets, or you can buy the pinky pockets or pinky houses if you have a kid that's struggling with that, or you've seen the cello fence, all the different things. Again, nonverbal cues. If you look around and you see a lot of straight thumbs, you can just go, and they know to bend their thumb. Or you look around and you see straight pinkies, just hold up your bow and tap your pinky. Again, anything you can do that maybe sometimes draws them in and focuses them, they can then apply that. So especially as we get into high school, but even with the younger kids, 6th grade on can do some of these activities. Placement, angle, weight, speed. We spend so much time all year, every year, talking about placement of the bow, meaning what lane you're in, forte, or if you number the bow lanes. The angle of the bow, flat hair, and then taking some of the hair off and tilting the bow. The weight that you use in the bow, how many pounds of weight, and then how fast of a bow we use. And we talk about those factors all the time. And we use that to create our different dynamics and tone colors and tone effects that we want. So I think the younger that you can start using that terminology, pause for bow placement, bow angle, bow weight, bow speed. And even if you're just talking about bow weight, go ahead and introduce them to those terms. So many times kids get to high school and they've played in a pretty large middle school group, so they're used to just what I call tickling the strings with their bow. They don't play with a lot of tone quality or with a focused tone. So by using that acronym pause and reinforcing that often, you can really help the kids develop a focused tone. Doing blow placement and articulation matching activities. We do a lot of I play, you play, or monkey see, monkey do. So where if I have my instrument and I'll say, okay, do exactly what I'll do. So I'll put my bow at the frog, they put their bow at the frog. I put my bow at the tip, they put their bow at the tip. And we just practice going different parts of the bow. Another one is the snake. So if I want every kid to play at the frog, I'll do, okay, we'll go down each row and the first person will go, next person, next person. And I'm checking really quick to see their articulation, see if they're matching bow, maybe matching pitch, all kinds of different things. We reinforce the 1 inch rule a lot, like within 1 inch of each other, the bows should be. So making sure students are, we'll do a lot of play and freeze. Okay, let's look around. Are you in the same part of the bow as your stand partner? What about the stand next to you and so forth? So that's a great activity for kids. And then activities to focus on unilateral and bilateral movement while playing, meaning, getting the kids moving side to side and then contrary motion, etc. All of those things are very helpful, I think, for kids as we're going along, working on bow placement and getting the right hand in good shape as well. And there's tons of other things you can do, but those are just some quick ones for you.